I'm going to be talking about Dallin Holker. This is a guy that I thought for sure was going to go within the 7 rounds. Probably, I had him probably within between the fifth, like end of the fifth, and somewhere in the seventh. So the fact that he didn't go was a bit of a shock to me. But he was picked up by the New Orleans Saints. This is a 6'5", 225 tight end. I think part of the things that probably scared a lot of teams off is he's a 4-year college player, and his first 3 years were at BYU, and his production there was abysmal. It was like almost non-existent. And then last year, at CSU, right, like he just kind of explodes onto the scene. Went for 767 yards on 64 receptions. I think this is a guy that is walking into a great situation with the Saints because it's that tight end room isn't particularly deep. I think he's got Jalen Johnson and Foster Moreau that he has to beat out. Neither which had prolific production last year. Now, part of that you could say is on the quarterback, but those guys aren't really big name, like big brand name tight ends either. The thing that I like about Dalen's game is that he's not too explosive after the catch, but he's very physical at the point of attack, right? Like at the high point of the catch, like he's gonna put a body on you, and you're gonna have a hard time wrestling that ball away from him. He's not gonna, he's not gonna have a lot of moves after the catch or anything like that, but he's gonna be a big time possession tight end, gonna be a huge red zone threat. When he is blocking, he does move bodies. One thing they did say though is that when he's lead blocking, that he tends to like slow down. He's a little hesitant. He's going to have to get a lot more violent in the NFL. You cannot be hesitating because these defensive ends, these linebackers, they don't care nothing about you and they will put you on your behind. He's going to end up being on the wrong side of the Sports Center highlight. But I think he really has a chance. I don't want to just say tight end 3. I think this guy has a chance to come on as tight end 2. And the reason why I think that this situation is so perfect is not just because of the lack of depth in that room, but Derek Carr, who we're all assuming is going to be the starting quarterback going into this, despite them drafting Spencer Rattler. Derek Carr, they tied a lot of money in there. So whether you like it or not, that's probably who QB1 is going to be going into the season. Derek Carr is a quarterback that is like, he has shown in the history of his career, he favors a tight end. If a tight end will play, like, say what you want to say about the Raider years. When he had Darren Waller, he was a much better quarterback when he knew that he could throw it up to that guy. And Dallin Holker is somebody that I think has the size and the physicality. He's not going to run like Darren Waller, but he's going to have the reliable hands like Darren Waller. So I definitely think that he can come out and he can make a case if he really firms up that blocking and tightens up his route running a little bit. He tends to drift in these zones and create contested catches where there really doesn't need to be a contested catch. So if he can keep those routes kind of clean and buy himself a little bit more space, man, I really like his odds of being able to do that, make the squad on the 53.
Yeah, like Soup, you hit on the head. I think with him, really in the NFL, how they're doing with tight ends is you got an inline blocking tight end. You got guys like George Kittle that could be inline, still run routes, etc. You got tight ends like Dallin Hooker where they're going to be more of an H-back out wide, kind of like a big slot kind of guy, and I think they need that specifically there. And he led the nation in receiving yards as a tight end. Like he was the leader of tight ends in college football last year in receiving yards. He made some plays. He had a few problems with turnovers. Had a couple fumbles that he lost. Every fumble he had, he lost, unfortunately. But his blocking can stand to improve. He is a plus blocker. He's not like a great blocker, but he's a plus blocker. But I think he is one of the guys that's in UDFA that has almost a certainty, as long as he plays and gets in the playbook, to make that roster. And I think you're 100% right. He has a very good chance to be tight end 2, but really tight end 1 because he would be their best receiving option at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Yeah, I first became familiar with this tape, and I'm sure y'all know where I'm going with this. That game that kept me up till 1:30 in the morning. It was Colorado versus Colorado State. Who stays up that late to watch college football? I do.
The whole nation did, bro. The ratings said it.
And that game was rocking. I mean, it had the drama like a movie, a Hollywood script. Even though it was silly drama, but hey, man, we make it big, right? But Dallin Holker kept them in the game. That obviously Colorado State ended up losing. But dude, he is a baller. I'm like, man, he is jumping in double man coverage. I'm like, I feel that the reason he had fell And I could be wrong. I don't want to make up fake news. Again, assumption here. He has that big brace on his arm. It's a big old bulky brace on his arm. So that could have scared people away. He had a nasty injury some years ago that I had read, but the dude plays as if it never happened. And Soupy hit the nail on the head. He got to work on the blocking a little bit, and Mike brought up the fumbles, but man, it's a guy, in my opinion, I see him possibly making the practice squad and then could be starting maybe midpoint of the season, man. But, I don't see, I'm not wowed by the tight end room in New Orleans. I'm absolutely not. I'm like, wow, that's a great tight end room. Like Dallin Holker, he should have been drafted early day 3. I don't know about day 2, but early day 3, he should have went maybe like round 4 or something like that.
I thought him leading the nation would have at least got him off the boards, but
yeah, this was a weird draft, man. And that could be another episode in itself, but dude, love the pickup by the Saints. It shows that they really care about building up and elevating that part of their offense. So, ladies and gentlemen, comment below if you agree. And Dallin Holker, if you're watching this, we're rooting for you, pal. Thank you for watching another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.